Run it back, Philly. No frauds, no fanboys, no intros.
Subsequent rounds.
See what he says about
if they
Embiid,
do
man.
Advance. My pessimism for Kawhi explains why I'm more optimistic, though, on a different player, Joel Embiid, who we found out recently some more details. It seems to be an injury to his LCL, a sprain of the lateral collateral ligament that happened here on this play. As Joel was coming up and going down, my honest first thought was just something like a little bit of a bone contusion or a bone bruise, because it looked like he hyperextended his right knee just a little bit as he landed here on the ground. But if we look at the position of his foot down here, he's a little bit on the outside of his foot. And so I suspect from a different angle, his knee is probably being bent a little bit outward. As the knee bends outward, that's going to stretch the structures on the outside of the knee, particularly the LCL. And if we play through the rest of this, we could even see Joel grabbing down there on the outside of his knee as he came up from this play. In this other angle, we can again see that little bit of a jar in that right knee as he lands. And so it's probably just the most subtle amount of strain that caused some injury to that LCL. Now, it's probable that there's some bone bruising still underneath all this, but the LCL is a more identifiable injury that they can describe and sort of report as what he's recovering from. But going back to our anatomy model here, I'm more optimistic about that because it's a true, like, discrete injury. The swelling is going to be outside the joint. It's something with a much more reliable timetable that you can also provide some external support to brace and get somebody back through. This isn't something that's going to be subjectively loaded repeatedly, causing more irritation and fluid buildup like something that's inside the joint. So while Embiid might have a longer absence and be out for early on in the second round, it's something that once it recovers, in my mind, should be done and behind him, unlike something potentially inside the joint with Kawhi, that it's going to be more of a load management in terms of how it responds throughout the rest of the playoffs, on and off sort of injury. But this is another one of those total fluke types of injuries. If he does him, unlike something potentially inside the, it's going to be subjectively loaded repeatedly, causing more irritation and fluid buildup like.
It doesn't make me feel too good, bro.
Something that's inside the joint.
Where did he say 100%? He's saying that basically he's going to need to be load managed because as you continue to play on this, you're going to get more and more pain and more swelling.
So while Embiid might have a longer absence and be out for early on in the second round, it's something that once it recovers, in my mind, should be done and behind him.
Bruh.
In the second round.
All right, I got news for you guys, bro.
Causing more irritation and fluid buildup like something that's inside the joint. So
I got news for you. This guy's saying, as Joel is possibly going to miss the beginning of the second round.
So while Embiid might have a longer absence and be out for early on in the second round.
While Embiid might have a longer absence and be out for early on in the second round. It's over if that happens. If Joel gets to 100% in game 3 or 4, that doesn't help us.
It's something that once it recovers, in my mind, should be done and behind him.
Now, I agree he's going to play in game 1. If he's not 100% against the Boston Celtics, it ain't happening.
Unlike something potentially inside the joint with Kawhi, that it's going to be more of a load management in terms of how it responds throughout the rest of the playoffs, on and off sort of injury. But this,
he posted this 13 hours ago. For everybody asking when he posted this 13 hours ago. Joel Embiid will not be 100% until sometime through the second round. We need him to be 100%. He's not. I don't think he's going to miss games, but if he's playing hurt, we're right back where we were. If he's playing hurt, we are right back where we were and where we are basically every single season with Joel Embiid. It just is what it is.